Okay, so it's a different day. It's the next day. And I actually spent about 5 minutes on number 4 here before I remember that I should be recording what it is I'm doing. So there's a little bit more here that I put on there. I think it was this anyway that I was messing with for when we left off. Yeah, I think so. All right, so that brings us on down to the midnight clock, but our midnight clock is actually done. So technically I just stop updating it at this point, but I feel like I could do a little bit more here. The Comiskin juice is important. It's one of the 3 reagents for time travel. Where does she get it though? Oh, you know what? Buys it from Mr. Kobashan, which is the Shalon has like a million time copies of himself, right? And they all go by different names and things. But outside of time copies, there's one legitimate copy of him. And I say legitimate because it didn't come out from time travel during the game. It actually came up from a primal effect, which literally duplicated his matter. So this isn't a time clone or nothing. This is a literal duplication of him. They didn't trust the time clone, the primal clone, however, and so they called him Evil Shalon. And I had that take sort of an effect on his psyche. And so his name is Mr. Kobashan. He's a capitalist. He died and he's Starla's father. Well, adopted father, as we've learned. Buys it from Mr. Kobashan. Oh, maybe not buys it, because Kobashan is dead. And Starla, his daughter, never would have given it to him. She's a good person. Chaotic good. Yeah, I don't know. We're going to keep coming back to this. We're going to figure something out that makes sense. And the cool thing is every time we come up with another one of these, we get some insight into the world. So we get to learn about a new faction, a new element that we might not have previously considered. And that's the nice thing about 10. It causes you to really stretch your head. Do you need 10? I don't know. I've just picked 10 arbitrarily, and I haven't really used any adventure where I've stuck hard to the 10. So far, I've just used like 5. But I mean, let's face it. If our group wants to sneak in and face off and fight Ophelia, I mean, we pretty much have all the things that we need to have, right? I should have the Shadeling. Oh, no, I do have the Shadeling. I have an assassin who may or may not be on site, depending on how the first encounter goes when they, during the hook and opening scene. Then I've got Messiah's armies. It's just the military people who are around. And I kind of picture it like a fight with the Matrix, like in the Matrix, where anybody around you can suddenly turn into a capable fighter. There's got to be a movie where it's just like some superhero or hero ends up inside of a house, and all of a sudden, like adults or like the sister and brother come and fight you, and like dad's behind you with a shotgun, and like where the family is suddenly murderous. That would just be like great imagery here, as I get to pick all of these, everyday mundane people, but who are ready for a fight and who will kill you. I think it'll really throw a cool sort of cult feel on this. And again, all the descriptions from those improvisations will be Western in nature. So it was the Westral Empire. Now it's the Titan West, because the dwarves attacked and took them over. Howitzer Golem for long range. Even up close, that could be fun. Describing a howitzer at point blank. Oh, you know what? Give it a point blank blast ability. Something where it just make it devastating. Commissar Julie Bruman. And we got someone who ensures loyalty, who's set to detect. When I looked it up, so the Commissar, I got the idea from Imperial Guard army, which is part of the Warhammer 40k world, and they have the Commissar. And the Commissar, if you break during battle, will shoot you. So you don't retreat, you don't run, you don't abandon. The Commissar will maintain discipline and loyalty with mortal efficiency. And so that's what I was thinking of here. But the thing is, these people are all hard and fast thralls anyway, so that's unnecessary. But I think the Commissar is really good at rooting out falsehoods, illusions, people in disguise. I mean, yeah, because if you come in not looking like someone who lives here, they're immediately going to raise the alarm and you're done. If you come in here looking like someone who lives here, well, you might be able to sneak on through if you know enough about their lives. We'll have to improvise that on the fly. Unless I might throw some details in just to help me out. Actually, what am I thinking? That would make a great NPC is to actually name one of these family members. Let's see. What's like the most dwarviest dwarf name ever? Stereotypical dwarf names. Best dwarf names. Here we go. Thank you, Pathfinder. Urist, whatchamacallit. Okay. Angus Thickbottom. Okay. Little Bottom. Iron Balls. Grandfire Goblin's Bane. Tactless Crag Shadow. I like Crag Shadow. We're gonna steal it. Or Coalfoot. I'm gonna go with Coalfoot because I think of mining. I think people are gonna think more dwarf when they think that. The Coalfoot family. So in this way, I can have an NPC. Oh wait, they'll definitely be against them. I apologize. This isn't an NPC. This is a minion. Now I'm familiar with the Messiah's army, right? That's this here. And really, they're the same thing. It's just that the Coalfoot family is a group of the Messiah's army. I don't know. It's all about how you want to distinguish. It doesn't really matter. Yeah, I think because I'm going to have the same stat blocks. Doesn't matter. Then I'll just have some names. Okay, so that can't be a good NPC. What do we got here? Other parts to an army are there? Because, yeah, I'm starting to come up with like almost a command structure. But it doesn't have to be. But we have Sphinx, so what kind of tenets, what kind of religions are required here? What do they worship? Again, it all comes down to the fact that I don't have a really good idea as to what Ophelia wants other than to kill him. But if I gave her a really strong second motive, you know what? It's at times like this that sometimes, actually, I'll be honest with you. I do this occasionally, but it never works. So I don't even know why I'm bothering, but I'm going to bother with you. So what I'm going to do is pull up a copy of the Dungeon Master's Guide. Actually, I guess I could have pulled this up online, but I'm used to looking at it here. The villains, I should actually have memorized. I always look up this one particular thing. Page 94. I was actually going to say that, but I didn't. And it's just the villain scheme, and I keep rolling on it for some kind of advice, some kind of ideas, and then, roll on the subforms, and usually not the weakness, but whatever. And it's sometimes interesting, but I can almost never use it because you just can't. Like, it just doesn't fit in with what you've got going on, but whatever, let's try it. There's also another online tool that I sometimes use for inspiration, which is Trey's Cool. Oh, D8, here we go. Ooh, an 8. Look at that, wealth. Here we go, 1d4. 2. Marry into wealth. She is trying to get a marriage of some sorts going on, and how is she going to get about getting it? 6. Defamation. See, kind of interesting. And a D4. 2. Gossiping or slander. She wants a marriage. She's going to get into it by gossiping or slander. Well, gossiping or slander kind of makes sense, actually. She's a Sphinx. Prophecy. So maybe not by gossiping or slander, but maybe false prophecy. Maybe, maybe. Libels or insults, humiliation or framing. I mean, technically, if I want to do this, I have to slander her name. I can't frame her for something. Her, whoever her is. I don't know who she's marrying. Who could she want to marry? You know? I have a really hard time with this. Whenever I think of monstrous villains, it always comes down to the same thing. I want to destroy the world, take over the world, you know, but it should be so much more meaningful than that. Like, I want to bring someone back, which she does. That is what she wants. She wants to bring back her brother Ordo. An escape to the future where they can be rid of Grégoire. Okay. That is what we want. So, what other minion would she have that aids in that particular part of it? She's planning to... Maybe this is something to do about where she's getting the Comiskin juice. In previous campaign, they were fighting against Vorgon. And in Shallan's endless temporal war. See, the thing is, I finished that arc, and I put a nice little ribbon on it. Meaning... And I'm likely to put an even better ribbon on it now in the campaign we're currently on. And so I don't want to open that. I want that to be it. Shallan dies in the war. So I don't want it to be any of the Shallans, maybe not Vorgan. I think maybe we should find a completely different source outside that group. Oh, you know what? Dekik has a brother who apparently stole a whole bunch of money from his own family and then fucked off to the Westral Empire. And that's as much thought as I'd given to it so far. But I think it would be really cool if he showed up here. And we can definitely dress him up like a Westral, like a Titan Western. But and we can also hit family for a theme. He's blind though. So, but not like blind monk blind. Although maybe. We don't know what his story's been. Dekik's been away from him for a couple years now. Just none in his family, in Dekik's family, can fly anymore because they're just too lazy. Like lazy, they've lost it. They've been away from the elemental plane of air for so long. They haven't stayed fit like he has. So it would be weird to suddenly find that one of them was a martial artist, kind of against the established lore. And while I think Emily would accept the change, I still don't want to do that. It's better if you can feed into what we know, because then it feels like she understands the situation better. So if he's here, he's definitely not a combatant, at least not in a traditional sense. Nothing says he can't have something else. I think he's definitely here. I think that's what it is. It's not a car. It's not Clack. Not Zeke. I gotta look up his people. Do I have them here? I do. Is it Claw? Yeah, terrible eyesight. So he's not blind. I guess, yeah. he is blind. But like, let's say he's just got very bad vision. Yeah. Yeah, this is old. He doesn't do this. He actually leaves. See, that's the thing. I don't have that shit written down. You know? If nobody remembers and something happens to me, they'll never know he left. I feel a need to put these stories in some indelible fashion into the world. So at least even if nobody reads them, they're not forgotten. Or else, why did we bother to make a story? We'll see. Okay. Plot. Deekik's brother. So there's family. He has converted to the thrall of Ophelia. His family's money. Is this like a honeypot situation where he fell in love with somebody and decided to how they recruited him? I think so. He is now married to Margaret Cragshadow. Now we're gonna use Cragshadow. Oh no! Why would I do this? We got a fucking story already. Coalfoot. I like this. Yeah. Coalfoot. Oh god, we're gonna have to keep track of this now. I like this. We'll worry about that age later. But for now, he is married to Margaret Coalfoot. Family. Oh my god. They have a kid. No. Let's just leave it at that. The reason why is because I'm kind of destroying my Titan West feel a little bit by throwing in an Aarakocra, which is anachronistic to the theme. But we do have a cool story reason for an Aarakocra to be here, and we're going to hit all of our... We're going to hit them all. Don't worry. We're good. I think we'll give him a sword cane as well, because he is blind. Or perhaps like wooden swords. Hmm. Well, no, I guess he's got a gunblade. Right? Or gunpowder sword, they're called here. Sword and guns. Yeah. Hmm. What am I missing? Oh, okay, okay. Right, west. Because I just thought of it, we're gonna put it in here. Ophelia's Holdings. That is definitely something that can't. Ugh. Come on, Mike. This bugs me when the 5 isn't also. Calm down, Mike. Calm down. Yeah, I like the idea of that. We hit family, swords and guns, Titan West. Sphinxes and Prophecy. He works for Ophelia. Ooh, unfortunately, we've added a new theme. Cult. It's there and it's undeniable. Okay. Typically, what I would do is go back and add cult to everything here. But you know what? I think it's just being added there manually. We'll let that, or not manually, automatically. I think that's what we got to do. All right, so there's Claw. We got some NPCs. So again, the difference between NPCs and minions, an NPC is neutral or helpful or possibly hostile, but not related to the main guy, not working for the main guy. So they can be hostile, but they're from some other reason to be hostile. What else we got here? So Wax would definitely be an ally. Ordo would probably be an ally. Gregoire would definitely be hostile or a temporary alliance. Vo would be helpful. Helpful. What else would be here? You know what? I like the idea of a preacher, but I'm thinking that this is a different preacher. What god would they be preaching? Pantheon. Here we go. The dead? No. Dragons? No. No, he's on the other side of the planet or continent. Fate. One sec.